What were you thinking when you watched these images yesterday?
Well, my first thought is I couldn't believe it. I just couldn't believe that that was happening in the U.S. And I'm sure your guests have used all the words. I thought it was repugnant, disgusting, criminal. It was hard to imagine that that was happening. And then this morning, we all saw images that we didn't see last night. People tearing offices apart, people stealing things, just people disrespecting the Congress. It was unbelievable. I never thought I would see that here. And, you know, David, there's a tendency to think that, well, yesterday was the worst. We got through it. We have 13 days to go. My sense is that the Trump presidency is a bit of a catalyst and that the real change is now coming. And I'm talking about changes to society. I don't think the Republican Party can stay together. We'll probably see it split up. And if the Republicans don't gain some members from current Democrats, they're just going to become a regional small party, and the Democrats will have it. It'll be like a one-party state. And I think society, I think it will be even more split. I think there are people who were empowered and emboldened by yesterday. So this is not the end. This is sort of the beginning of what's to come.
It's funny. I'd asked Andy Card earlier about it. He was trying to be, I think, more optimistic than you. You know, as somebody who's obviously been part of a Republican administration, what are your expectations? Do you see the Trump supporters moving to one side and then a more moderate party coalescing around the likes of a Mitt Romney? Is that the best you could hope for?
Yeah, that's in terms of my wish would be a party that moves towards the center right. And there will be those who don't agree, current Trump supporters. They will not be in agreement with that. And I don't see how they can reconcile. If you have a center-right party, maybe there's a possibility that you can bring over as many center Democrats as possible, the so-called red dog Democrats, what used to be blue dog Democrats. And you could form something with enough scale. If you can't do that, then you're just going to have a dysfunctional Republican Party that will continue to get smaller and smaller.
Secretary Gutierrez, I'm curious. I mean, the country is very divided right now, incredibly divided, right? I mean, we've seen friendships ripped apart by this. We've seen families ripped apart by this for years now, the politics that are playing out in this country on both sides. But we've also seen workforces impacted by this and companies impacted. So how does unification actually begin? I guess more specifically, how do companies and businesses actually help bridge that divide between Americans?
That's a great question. You know, my biggest source of optimism is the private sector. Because I can assure you every CEO in the country is trying to unite their company. They're trying to move forward. They're trying to say we are not going to tolerate any violence or divisions. The private sector is where it starts. I believe they will take the lead. That doesn't worry me. I have a great deal of faith and confidence in corporate America. Even though with some Republicans that will sound like, you know, like a bad concept. But it's society at large. I think that's where we're going to see the divisions within the party. What does that mean eventually? So it's almost the people outside of the corporate America structure, the people outside of our normal institutions. This is not about Wall Street. This is not about big, bad multinationals. This is about Main Street now. And the problems are going to occur on Main Street.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.